Hello everyone and welcome to Channel 18 TV News. I'm Don Julian, and in the news, filing for the May 2nd Sulphur Springs City Council election closed on Friday, and there are two contested races. Vanessa Diosdado, Justin M. Brown, J.W. Julian, and Mark Bradley are seeking the unexpired term Place 1 seat, and Ricardo Chavarria and Gary Spraggins are both running for the Place 5 seat. Places 1 and 5 are the seats among the 6 up for election that were contacted as of 2 p.m. Friday. And unchallenged as of 2 p.m. on Friday were the following. Place 2, all by himself, Harold Nash Sr. Place 3, only candidate is Oscar Aguilar. Place 6, Doug Moore, the incumbent, only candidate. Place 7, incumbent John Sellers, only candidate. The election for places 1 through 3 and place 5 are for unexpired terms of council members who resigned back in December. And places 6 and 7 would have been on the ballot anyway. Those are full-term seats. That city council election for Sulphur Springs will be held on May 2nd. Cumbia Independent School District Board of Trustees are again calling for a bond election for much needed improvements and renovation at the elementary campus and associated construction and renovations. Cumbia ISD voters also were asked during a May 5th election to consider approving the bond. In the early ballots back in November, 60% of the voters were in favor of the bond for school improvements, with 40% voting against it. However, once election day totals were in, bond was defeated by 10 votes. Cumbia residents on May 2nd will be asked to vote either for or against the issuance of $6.2 million of bonds for the construction, acquisition, renovation, and equipment of school buildings in the district and athletic track and field facilities and associated improvements, and the levying of a tax sufficient without limit as to rate or amount to pay the principal of and interest on the bonds, and to pay the cost of any credit agreements executed or authorized in anticipation of, in relation to, or in connection with the bonds. Boy, some attorney wrote that. And this is a property tax increase. Sulphur Springs High School had 21 students compete at the District 5 Skills USA competition at Texas State Technical College in Waco, February 6th through the 8th. Robotics and culinary arts teams competed very well, advancing a total of 4 teams to state competition. Robotics competed in 3 different robotic technology-related events, and 2 teams that competed in those events advanced to state competition. That'll be held in Corpus Christi first weekend in April. And Luis Ruiz and Austin McCain placed first, and Colby Walker and Jimmy Graham placed second, advancing both of those robotic teams. Skills USA Culinary Arts participated in regional competition as well, and 11 students participated in 4 events. In commercial baking, an event featuring 3 to 5 tier cakes, Valerie Lindsay, Jesse Booth, Logan York, and Michael Mercer received a first-place ribbon for their bird cake, advancing them to state competition. Also, in commercial baking, 3 to 5 tier cakes, Michael Mercer, Andrea Munoz, Lena Pacheco, and Ellie Thompson received a first-place ribbon with their sun cake, advancing them to state competition. And Kimberly Hernandez and Natalie Thrash received top scores in their category in commercial baking as well. The Como-Picton FCCLA competed in Waco at the Region 3 Leadership Conference, and following teams are advancing to state competition in April. The second place Nutrition and Wellness Project team of Presley Cummins and Carol Neighbors. Third place in Professional Presentations team of Kinley Green, Jocelyn Perez, and Jasmine Tapley. And the fifth place Diversity Project in Focus on Children team of Jake Anderson, Maya Lewis, and Gemma Mercado. Then Leslie Velasco, Diana Gallegos, Kinley Green, and Jocelyn Perez served the Region 3 as members of the Connection team. And finally, early voting, yet another election different from the cities and schools that we've been talking about. This is the state election. Early voting begins on Tuesday in the March 3rd primary election and will be continuing through Friday, February 28th. Voting will be conducted 8 a.m. until 5 p.m., February 18th through the 22nd, February 24th, February 26th, and February 28th. And voting will also be conducted from noon until 5 p.m., February 23rd, and from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m., February 25th through the 27th. That's a lot to try to remember, and all of this information is available at ksstradio.com online, where you can kind of study it a little bit more. All early voting in Hopkins County will be conducted in the JP number 2 courtroom at the Hopkins County Tax Office / Justice of the Peace offices at 128 Jefferson Street in Sulphur Springs. Last day to accept applications for ballots by mail. That's an important one for those people that want that. That's on February 21st, so you have to get those in this week. Election day voting will be from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and at the 12 voting centers locations throughout the county. Only one race for a county office is contested, and that is for Precinct 2 Constable. Charles Humphreys and John Bryan Beadle are both seeking the Republican nomination. Bill Allen, the incumbent, opted not to seek election to another term as that constable in Precinct 2. Incumbent Dan Flynn, that's a multi-county race, including Hopkins County, and he's being challenged in his bid for re-election as District 2 state representative in the Republican primary by Brian Slayton and Dwayne Doc Collins. The candidate receiving the Republican nomination on March 3rd will be facing Bill Brannon, unchallenged for the Democratic Party nomination, and that election will take place in November. And again, see ksstradio.com for profiles on the constable candidates, as well as a list of party candidates in other offices. Now turning attention to sports, the Wildcats basketball team, ranked number 10 in Class 5A, went up by 18 points at the half, survived hot shooting by Royce City in the third quarter, and then outscored the Bulldogs in the fourth quarter to take a 72-62 win in the main gym at Sulphur Springs High School on Friday night. It was the Wildcats who were hot early, leading 22-7 after one quarter and 38-20 at halftime. But then the Bulldogs answered with a very hot shooting third quarter to outscore the Wildcats 23-13 and trim that deficit to just 8 points. The Wildcats still led Royce City at that point 51-43. The Wildcats put the game out of reach by outscoring the Bulldogs early in the fourth quarter 15-2, and that made the score 66-45. But Royce City made one last run at mostly Wildcats reserves to get within 10 points at the final horn, and again that final 72-62. Wildcats had 4 players in double figures. Cameron Kahn had 19 points, Day Hall 18, Lamadrick Johnson 15, and Boo Wilkerson had 10. Sophomore Caleb Alexander hit 2 3-pointers to score 6 points. Justin Brock made a 3 for 3 points. Grayson McClure had 1 point. Royce City senior Dalen Dunbar led the Bulldogs with 18 points. The Wildcats remain in second place in district as they improve their record to 7-2, and the Wildcats are 25-8 for the season. Mount Pleasant, ranked number 24 in Class 5A, stayed in first place with a road win Friday at Lindale, and Mount Pleasant will be wrapping up district play at Greenville on Tuesday. The Wildcats, meantime, have senior night Tuesday as they'll be playing Lindale at home. Lady Cats basketball team won their way into the playoffs with a victory over Lindale 46-37 at Emory Range Friday evening. With the win, the Lady Cats captured the fourth and final playoff spot, and the loss ended the Lady Eagles season. The Lady Cats made the playoffs despite the loss of 4 starters to graduation of last year's team and some nagging injuries throughout this season. The Lady Cats already know their playoff assignment, and it's a familiar one, the Jacksonville Maidens, who are district champs of District 16 5A. Jacksonville won a by-district game against the Lady Cats in Winona last season. Well, the rematch will be taking place Monday night at 6:30 p.m. In other words, it's just now getting underway at Tyler Junior College. The Wildcat soccer team danced right on the edge without falling off on Friday in a pulse-pounding 2-1 win at Lindale in what Wildcats soccer coach Alexi Upton called an insane game. The Eagles scored in the game's first 10 minutes and then led for just about the entire game. Just about. After what Coach Upton called about 30 unsuccessful scoring chances, the Wildcats finally tied the score with just 1:30 left in the game. Alejandro Diosdado tapped in the tying goal after an assist pass from Kevin Yanez. Then in overtime, just when it appeared penalty kicks would be necessary to decide this one, the Wildcats got the go-ahead goal with just 1 minute and 15 seconds left in the second half of overtime. Yanez again set up the goal, and Omar Hernandez finished it. When overtime ended, the Wildcats had a 2-1 win. The Wildcats have started district play with 2 wins on the road. Excuse me. They improved their season record to 8-4-5. The Wildcats have now gone 10 games without a loss, including 6 wins and 4 ties. And Coach Upton said the game shows the fight in the Wildcats. He said he was proud of them. And Coach Upton said the Wildcats are ready to challenge for the district title. Any title run always goes to Mount Pleasant, and the Tigers come to Gerald Prim Stadium to take on the Wildcats Tuesday night. Meanwhile, the Lady Cats soccer team improved their district record to 2-0 with a 4-0 victory over Lindale at Gerald Prim Stadium on Friday night. Lady Cats season record is now 6-6-1. After opening the district campaign with 2 home games, the Lady Cats will hit the road for their 3rd district game as they visit Mount Pleasant Tuesday night. And I talked with Lady Cats coach Javier Aguayo about that Lindale win and more on Monday morning.
It was a good win. We're 2-0 now. We'll go against Mount Pleasant tomorrow. It's going to be a tough game, but besides that, it was a really good win. The girls just went out there in the beginning of the game and controlled the game, had really good possession of the ball, moved the ball from side to side. We forced them to create gaps so that we could play through balls, which it worked. We had a couple goals early on, but I mean their keeper was pretty good. She got a couple saves on first half on us. But other than that, we're glad we got the win. Yeah.
4-0 or 4 goals, and tell us about those 4.
4 goals. They were good goals. First goal came off a deflection. Rebecca took a corner kick, and then the ball was kind of already going in goal. I guess we don't know if they count it as a own goal or goal for Becca, but I told them I think it's a goal for Becca. It was just a slight deflection. She kind of put it in, but I mean the ball was already going in. Second goal came from Caitlin Robinson. It was actually her own shot, and the keeper deflected it back out, and she just tapped it back in. Third goal was from Ch.18 Yamaguchi. Mm-hmm. Yeah, really good goal. She just drove in. I believe it was Ashley played a through ball, and Ch.18 just dribbled in and took a shot and made it. And then the last goal was Haley Robinson. So that's her 4th goal in the season. So that's really good. Yeah. Another through ball. Like I said, we were moving the ball from side to side and forced them to create gaps that we could play the ball through, and it worked. It worked really good.
Yeah, 4 different players score, so that makes you hard to guard.
Yeah, I think right now I think now we have the team that we want to have our starting 11, and we kind of figured out who's going to be out there and who's the ones that we have to keep out there to help us win games. I think we have a pretty complete team now. Yeah, our center mids, our attacking mid, Rebecca, and then wingers and our striker, I think they're doing good. Like I said, I think now we realize who we need to have out there, and it's going to help us win. So I think we'll be good.
Another good defensive night for you.
Yes, we didn't have no defensive mistakes, so that's another good thing. Like I said, we started moving players around, and now we figured out who needs to play where, and that's helping us a lot. Yeah, so defense did really good.
All right. Yeah. How good is Mount Pleasant this year?
I think they're gonna be a tough opponent. They're good. They've gone. Their record right now is 10-4-3, I believe. 10 wins for 4 losses and 3 ties. Let me just to tell you that they lost to Wiley East 2-0. I know we had a lot of defensive mistakes against Wiley East, but I mean, there's no excuse. We have to go out there and work. They're going to be a very tough opponent, but I believe they're beatable. I believe we can beat them. We just have to go out there and work, play our game, not their game, and just go from there. Yeah.
And that's Channel 18 TV News. I'm Don Julian. Thank you for watching, and so long, everybody.